Okay, welcome back. So at this point, we're sort of about halfway through merge sort. We haven't actually done any sorting yet, but what we saw was that if I give you two sorted sublists, so imagine taking a list, splitting it in half, having those be sorted, I can bring them together into a single merged and sorted list in linear time in the length of the list. So now let's see how to build a full-blown merge sort from that. But first, let's just make sure we see how to actually write the code to do the merging, because obviously we're going to have to do that. So let's consider the following function called merge. It's going to take the list, and it's going to take three parameters, P, Q, and R, and it's going to divide the list into two sublists, left and right. Left runs from P to Q. Notice the Q plus 1 here because of the way the bracket works with the off by 1. And then the right is the list of Q plus 1, 1 over to R plus 1. So take an arbitrary list, doesn't matter how long it is, and I'm going to say that this function is going to merge two sublists from P to Q and Q plus 1 to R. Okay, so you may be wondering why I'm specifying like this. Why not from 0 to the midway point and the midway point to the end? Because that's sort of how we did it before. You're going to see I need this kind of generalizability or flexibility when I go to implement merge sort in a little bit. Okay, so merge takes a list. It takes three parameters, and its job is to split the list into two subparts, left and right, from P to Q, Q to R, assuming that those are sorted. How they get sorted, don't worry about that right now. And then its job is to merge them using the algorithm that we did in the previous segment, looking at the first element, which one's smaller, and going through the list that way. So let's see how we're going to do that now. So I'm going to define three variables, I, j, and k. Okay. I is going to be the index into left. That starts off at 0. We're at the very far left. J is going to be the index into right. We start in 0. So think back to that previous segment where I had the two sublists stacked on top of each other. I, j are these pointers. K is the pointer into the final list that we are going to merge left and right into. And notice that it starts at P. Why does it start at P? Because I'm taking from P to R in the original list. I'm taking those two subsegments, and I want to replace the list that was passed in from that range. Okay? So I have sublist 0 left, sublist right, starting at I and j equal to 0 each. K is going to be the index into where I'm going to insert these elements. So I'm going to increment I and j as I move through the sublist, and then I'm going to increment k as I'm shoving them into the final list. All right, so now let's look at the code that does that. While I is less than the length of the left, and j is less than the length of the right. So those two pointers move through the left and the right sublist until I get one of them is at the very end. So as long as I'm still iterating through, I've got work to do. So what do? All I have to do, remember how we do the merge, all I have to do is look at what's in the ith position of left and what's in the jth position of right, because those are assumed to be sorted, so the minimum element for the whole list must be one of those two. So if the left is smaller than the right, then the list of k, k being the index into the list, equals left sub I. So I take the left's value and I shove it into the final list. And then I increment I by 1. J stays where it is, of course, right? So that increment goes down over 1 and j stays the same. Now if that's not true, then the right must have the minimum element. So the list of k equals right of j, and then increment j by 1. So one of these two conditions has to hold. Which of the sublist elements do I want? Shove that into the list, and then increment k by 1, and now I'm ready to go to the next position. So it's that same thing. I and j are moving down like this, and then k is linearly moving down like this. Notice that this whole loop runs in O of n, at worst case, because n is the length of the entire list. I've split it in two, and I'm going to move through that whole list. Good. Now, when I get to the very end, I've got this little trick that I'm going to do here. So at some point, there's going to be some element or elements left in the left or the right, right? And we saw that in the previous segment when we were iterating through that example. And I don't have to drive through the whole rest of that list. So once one of them is empty, once I've emptied left or emptied right, well, then I just take what's ever left over and I shove it back into the list. And that's what this little bit of code is doing here. So it says if I is less than the length of the left, that means right has emptied, and I take whatever's left in the left sublist and I shove it into the final list. And if j is less than the length of the right, that means that the left has emptied out, the right sublist has a few elements left in it, and I just take those and I shove them into the list. So this is just a little trick for not having to iterate through both of the sublists, but until only one is empty, and then the other one just gets tagged along. Good. I think you should be able to see that that runs in linear time because there's a single while loop that is going through and incrementing through two sublists, each of length n over 2. Good. Now, we still don't have a sorting algorithm. So that was just the Python code for doing the merge in linear time. Now, let's see how we do sorting. So I'm going to give you a list with a bunch of elements in it. Again, integers, unique integers, and let's say we want to sort it in increasing order. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to split this list into two parts. 89, 45, 85, 81, 77, that's the first half. And then 94, 22, 79, 92, 91, that's the second half. So I split them in half. They are not sorted, right? I can't just merge these because it won't work because they're not in sorted order. So what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to sort them. How? Don't worry about that right now. So let's say I sort L1 and then L1 is in sorted order. So this list turns into 45, 77, 81, 85, 89, sorted. Sort this sublist. How? Don't worry about it. We'll get back to it in a minute. So once it's sorted, it's 22, 79, 91, 92, 94. These two are now sorted magically. So all I have to do now is merge them. Yeah, merge L1 and L2, and I have a full sorted list. So this is sort of a sorting algorithm. The way I sort this whole list is I sort two sublists and then merge the two sublists. This is sounding pretty familiar and it's sounding a lot like recursion. Well, how do I sort this? Well, split it in half, sort the two sublists, and then merge them. Well, how do I do that? Split them in half, and eventually, as I keep splitting, I'm going to get to a list that has one element, and that is inherently sorted. So merge sort is a recursive algorithm that keeps breaking down the list in half, and eventually gets down to a single element, and then it merges all of the sorted elements. So let's see how that works now. Merge sort takes as input a list and a P and an R, which are going to be the pointers to the sublist that you are going to sort. I'm going to initialize them to be none just to simplify the original call to merge sort. And I have a conditional here that says if P is not specified and R is not specified, then please set P to be 0 and R to be the length of the list minus 1. So that is, I'm going to set P to be 0 and R to be the index of the last element in the list. And the reason I'm doing this, of course, is because merge sort is going to have to sort the entire list, the left half of the list, the right half of the list, the left quarter of the list, the next quarter, and so on and so forth. And so these two indices will keep changing depending on which part of the sublist I'm sorting. Initially, of course, when I just call this at the very beginning, P is 0, R is the end of the list. I'm going to split them in half, so P will be 0, R will be the midway point. And then for the left and then for the right, P will be the midway point plus 1, and R will be the length of the list minus 1. And you'll see how we do that in a second. So that's just initializing for the first call. Then, if P is less than R, that makes sense because if I do this, there's no more sorting to be done. So as long as I have at least one element in the list, I want to do something. What do I want to do? I want to split the list in half, sort both subhalves, and then merge. So find the midway point. Q is equal to P plus R divided by 2. P is the left element, R is the index to the first element, R is the index to the last element. Q is the midway point. Recursively, merge sort. Recursively call merge sort on the list. Notice I'm not breaking up the list. I don't have to. I don't have to make more lists. All I have to do is tell you which segment of the list do I want to sort. So sort from P to Q, so from 0 to the midway point, and then from Q plus 1 to the end point. Okay? Now, when I call this merge sort, it's only going to have to deal with half the list. And then I'm going to call this merge sort, I'm going to deal with the second half of the list. If we trust the recursion, when these two are done, those two sublists will be sorted, and I simply merge the list from P to Q to R. That is, P is the first position, Q is the midway point. That part is sorted. Q plus 1 to R is sorted, and then we merge. So don't confuse these. This is the merge, the linear time merge that we just did in the previous slides. And this is a recursive call to yourself. Now, let's see how the recursion works, and then we'll do the runtime analysis. Okay. Now, first of all, let me just, you may remember in 206A when we talked about recursion, I always said you have to have a base case. So where is the base case here? Why don't I have a case that says when you get to a certain element, when you get to a single element or an empty list, do nothing? And that's because it's just in the else clause here. So if P is less than R is the recursive case, and the else clause says there's nothing to do. So that's the base case is implicit in this case. And the other thing you may remember with recursion is we always return something because we are building up this recursive expression. But notice here that we are not doing that because we are modifying the list. We could have done it differently, by the way. We could have done it where we returned a sublist and concatenated the list. But the merge is itself modifying the list. So when I call merge, I'm modifying the sublist that is being sorted at that particular moment, so we don't have a return here. All right, so let's look at the recursion. This is my merge sort algorithm. Again, this little bit up here is just to initialize for when I first call it so that I don't have to specify 0 in the length of the list minus 1 when I do the initial call. All other times when I call merge sort recursively, those two parameters will be set. So initially, I want to merge sort from 0 to the length of to the end of the list. I merge sort the first half, the second half, and then I merge them together. Okay? So imagine I have a list with 8 elements in it. So I'm going to call merge with 0 and 7. And just to simplify things, because I was having trouble here, I'm going to just use the word merge here. Okay? So this thing is going to be a call to merge with 0 and 7. All right, so let's see how this is going to work. I'm going to take the full list with, say, 8 elements in it, and I'm going to split it in half. That's the first 2 calls. So this will be a merge sort from 0 to 3. This will be a merge sort from 4 to 7. So please sort the first half, sort the second half. Okay, let's do this one. Merge sort 0 to 3. That has 4 elements in it. So split that in half again. 0, 1, and then 2, 3. Sort that list with 2 elements, sort the list with 2 elements, merge them together in order to bring them into a single sorted list. All right, merge of a list with 2 elements we'll call merge of 0, 0 and 0, 1, and 1, 1 rather. So now I'm down finally to a base case here. I have a list with 1 element in it, right, down here. So now I know that this sublist with only 89 in it is in sorted order. This sublist with only 1 element in it is in sorted order, but now I have to merge them together. So how do I do that? Well, I'm going to do the same old merge that we did before. I have 2 lists. I find which one's smaller, put that first, which one's bigger, put that last. And so now these 2 elements are in sorted order. So that little sublist of size 2 is in sorted order. Now we do this one. Okay, so let's see. I did a list with 8 elements. I split it in 4. I took that 4. I split it in 2. I just finished sorting that, so let's do the next 2. So that's these 2 elements here, 85 and 81. I get to the base case where that list with only 1 element is sorted, that list with only 1 element is sorted, and now I merge them together, right? So sort, sort, merge. So I'm going to merge those 2 together, and of course it just flips them. Notice now that this entire sublist with 4 elements is sorted, right? 45, 89. Sorry, I haven't merged them together. This sublist of 2, this sublist of 2 is sorted, and now we come back up, and now our job is to merge. So sorted, sorted. Now, those 2 sublists go into the merge call, and we bring them together. So we get 45, 81, 85, 89. Then we do the whole right subtree, the same thing. Split it in half, split it in half, split it in half. Eventually you get down to lists with only 1 element. You push them together, and then you make your way back up. So really beautiful, elegant, recursive algorithm for doing merge sort by simply continually dividing the list in half until you get to a base case of a list with 1 element. And notice that the magic is really in the merging, and that's being done in linear time. But the whole algorithm is not linear because we have to do a lot of those. And now the question is, well, how many? How many merges do you have to do? Well, let's see. So here's my recursive tree. I had the original call with 8 elements. That spun off 2 recursive calls with 4 elements each. That spun off 4 recursive calls with 2 elements each, and that spun off 8 recursive calls with 1 element each. Okay? where is the cost here? The cost is in the merge, right? That's where all the work is being done. Everything else is just a recursive call and a couple of conditionals. So what's the cost of merging a list with n elements? It's n. We saw that already. It's a linear time merging algorithm. So the last merge is going to cost me big O of n. Okay? Now, to get there though, I have to merge two sublists of length n over 2. So what's the cost associated with that? Well, merging a list of n over 2 costs me n over 2. Merging a list of n over 2 costs me n over 2, but there's 2 of them, so it's 2 times n over 2. Now, to get those, I had to merge 4 lists, each of length what? N over 4. And that, then I had to merge 8 lists of length n over 8, and so on and so forth. Okay, so what does that look like? Well, each of those, of course, is just n. So every row of this tree costs me n times, right? N at the very top, 2 times n over 2, 4 times n over 4, 8 times n over 8, 16 times n over 16, and so on and so forth. So what's the overall runtime complexity? Well, it depends how many there are of these. Yeah? Are there n of them? No, of course not. I mean, I can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and there was 8 elements in the list. So if I take a list and I keep dividing by 2, dividing by 2, dividing by 2, how many times will I do that? Log n time. I'm dividing the problem in half. So there's only log n of cost n, and there it is. There is a sorting algorithm that is better than n squared time. It is n log n. The n, of course, comes from the merging, and the log n comes from the fact that you are creating a binary tree where you split the problem in half until you get elements of length 1, lists of length 1, and that you only have to do log n times. So this is much, much better than n squared. Why? N squared is n times n, and this is n times log n. So instead of growing with the square, it's growing not quite linearly. It's a little bit more than linearly, but only linearly times a logarithm, and of course that grows very slowly. And so this is a very, very efficient sorting algorithm. Okay, now there's a cost associated, as you know, with recursion, and that is memory, right? Because as you are building up that recursive call, you have to store all of those recursive calls and these remembrances to go back and do all the recursive sorting and the recursive merging, and that can be a little pricey. So although the sorting algorithm is O of n log n, better than insertion sort, better than selection sort, it comes at a little bit of a cost. And so in the last segment of the sorting lecture, we're going to do quicksort, which has the benefits of being an iterative algorithm, non-recursive, and it's still O of n log n. I don't think it's quite as elegant as the merge sort. I'm partial to these recursive algorithms because they're so beautiful to implement. It's almost like you don't have to do any work. But practically speaking, quicksort is the way to go because it has very good runtime complexity, O of n log n. It has good best case, relatively straightforward to implement, and it's iterative, non-recursive, so it doesn't have this big burden on memory. So when we come back, we'll do the last sorting algorithm, which is quicksort, and then we'll move on to some new topics. See you in a bit.